Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brian, and welcome back to another video here on our Buffalo Bills franchise inside of Madden 24. This is episode number 2, and where we last left off, we just finished up signing our free agents, and we are now in the week just before the NFL draft, and we're about to hopefully draft the next future stars for this team. And really what our main goal with this draft is to kind of fill up some holes that this roster has. Obviously we lost a lot of guys after last season that we were unable to re-sign, such as wide receiver Gabe Davis, most notably, as well as some other guys as well. Now we did manage to re-sign a couple of guys, including Micah Hyde, as well as, let me just pull up this spreadsheet right here for a second. So we managed to re-sign Micah Hyde as well as Daquan Jones. And the only other thing we did was we picked up the 5th-year option for first-round pick Greg Rousseau. And then, so that's, in terms of re-signing, that's all we were able to do with our limited salary cap. As you can see, we only have just under $5 million in salary cap after we signed our free agents. Which, just I guess to look at the recap here of free agency, I guess I used to be able to look at it, but fortunately it does not look like I can. But then again, actually that makes sense because I will say this right now. So in between episodes, what I've done is I noticed last episode that a couple of the first round picks were in the wrong order in terms of what they're supposed to be in real life. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead to every teams that was, at least for just the first round, because after that it really doesn't matter a whole lot necessarily. But at least for the first round order, every single team has every single correct pick. So like for example, the Washington Commanders and the Arizona Cardinals, their picks were flipped that I noticed last episode. So that's just the way the game, the way the EA did it for whatever reason in their most recent update when they added this mode that you can start at, like, at the wild card round. So, and that's just how it works, just unfortunately. But I mean, it was very easy fix for me to do. I didn't really have I didn't really have to do a whole lot to fix it. But yeah, so that's fixed. So that's at least the first round will be accurate in terms of draft order. But that's why, as you can see here, I cannot see my I cannot view the free agency recap because I technically had to go retire this coach and then play as this coach again. So yeah, there's that. I also had to pick redo the private workouts as well that we selected last episode, which I believe what we did last episode was middle linebacker. Actually, I can click on this there and I can show you guys what we picked. So for our prospects of choice, for our private workouts, we chose wide receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas. We chose edge Shamar Turner out of Texas A&M, and then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. So it looks like we already have a linebacker that's 100% scouted as well, and he actually has a better talent than his projection. So hopefully we'll be able to maybe score him if we can't get Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But based on the most recent mock draft, we were supposed to draft him. So and I mean, he doesn't really look like that bad of a player from what I remember. I mean, he's not very fast, unfortunately, it looks like. But A, awareness, B, play rec, P, block shedding, B, pursuit, A, tackle. I mean, those are important attributes to have, but the fit, like, he's not necessarily the most athletic guy in the world. So even though he's like first round projected, he probably is like lower talent. So maybe Jonah Ellis might be the better pick here, especially since he is really fast. Although his awareness is all down and whatnot. But as you can see, this is his full scouting report since he's 100% scouted, and he is supposedly round 1 to 2 talent. So despite his much lower awareness compared to Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he might be a guy that we might have to go after just because I only have concerns with Jeremiah Trotter not being very fast and having that poor speed attribute. But yeah, so that is what I had to do before the episode started. So now I guess what we can do here is we can advance to the next week. And this will bring us to our the week of the draft. And yeah, I mean, I think I have a mock draft pulled up here on my spreadsheet that I made. And now obviously I just put players on here that I think we could use to fill holes. Like I said, obviously you can see their top team needs. We currently don't have a left outside linebacker because we didn't re-sign them. So we're going to be definitely probably looking for a linebacker at this draft. I definitely also want to look for a receiver, and probably again like just some offensive lineman help, as you can see, right guard and right end, just to get younger at those positions, and probably better as well in that case. So the other thing is with this, obviously, because we just started this series in this off season, we haven't really had a whole lot of time to look at these prospects, especially since we just downloaded this class, and this is the real life current, draft class in real life. So Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, Drake May, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and all that. I do want to quickly check something here. They do have JJ McCarthy. Okay. Because some of these guys have probably since either said they're not coming out of the draft or not declaring for the draft, or they are declaring for the draft. So I think all these guys are. So I don't see Quinn Ewers in here, and that's the main one I know that said he was staying. So there's that. But yeah, this draft class should primarily be right. If there is a player in here that said that they are not declaring for the draft, I apologize for that, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, like I said, I mean, this is really the next step for us here, is just to go. I guess since we moved to the next week, we probably could see those private workout results for those players that we have a private workout with. So Xavier Worthy here out of Texas, looks like his great speed, greats and elites and goods except for strength poor. So not sure exactly what that means. Let me just quickly see here. So physical ratings are based on rookie performance. These range from elite to poor. Okay, so his strength is just not the greatest. As you can see, his bench press is 49th, only 6 reps. He actually did better at the he did better at the combine than he did at the at his pro day, at least in that regard. However, in most other categories, he either did equally as well or improved. So, which is good. I mean, that's really, it's just another, test area for them for the scouts to see, how the players are doing. I guess another option we can go forward with receiver, if Xavier Worthy isn't there or we just don't feel that comfortable with him, we do have Troy Franklin out of, is it LSU? No, Oregon, my bad. Again, same thing, great, and like greats mostly across the board except for the strength. So, and he actually did less reps than Xavier Worthy. So, I mean, and that's probably, obviously this guy seems to be around 3 to 4 projection. So there's that. However, I think he is faster than Xavier Worthy. He's 6'3", 185. That's actually pretty good with Xavier Worthy. I think he's 6'1". Okay. Obviously, ideally, we'd want to get a guy like Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. However, he's not the most fast guy in the world. I think is he tall? Oh, no, he's 6'1" as well. So he's more of a slot guy, as that says right there as well. So deep route, short route. We don't really know a whole lot about him. Unfortunately, obviously, we haven't really had the time to do that. And there's only very few positions that our scouts scouted 100% for us. So there's that. Looks like Shamar Turner here, 90% scouted. Still a day 3 projection. However, he doesn't look terrible. A block shedding, A play rec, A power moves, F hip power. So, I mean, that could be, I mean, it really, it's just a comparison of these players. Like, these grades are given based on how they compare with the rest of the positions or rest of the players in their position. So, like, they might have F hip power, but that's still like a decent overall. From what at least I understand, I haven't really done a whole lot of or really analyzing the deep, the nitty gritty stuff of this scouting and this draft process in this game. But from what I've done research wise, that's what I've gotten. So, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., our last guy here. And then looking at our last guy here, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., looks like that he is still, so he did his pro day and combine. So A awareness, B block shedding, B play rec, A zone coverage, A tackle. So do we know what he's a field general. Okay, so that's not bad. How tall is he? 6 foot. I believe I can see that from here. 6 foot. Yes, 6 foot, 230. So he's a pretty heavy guy, at least for a linebacker. But I guess the linebackers are supposed to be that big. But again, Jonah Ellis, I'm also going to keep my eye on because of just his, his speed. I mean, obviously speed's not everything. But for linebackers' sake, if you want to have your linebackers keep up with wide receivers or even tight ends, that speed factor can really play a lot into that. So that's something to really look for when you're looking at drafting linebackers, because if you got linebackers who can keep up in the pass game, then or at least maybe help with with blitzing. That's another reason that speed is primarily important for linebackers. So there's that. Looking at any of these other guys, I did actually add a couple more guys. So the current or mock draft I have, I guess I can list this off for you guys. So first off, I have us currently picking Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at pick 28. Actually, we'll start with this first. So we have our draft picks. We have a first round pick, a second round pick, fourth round pick, 2 5th round picks, 3 6th and 3 6th round picks, and 1 7th round picks, or 1 7th round pick. And the other 5th round pick is from Green Bay, and then 2 of the 6th round picks are from Los Angeles, specifically the Rams and the Cowboys, respectively, as well as our own 6th round pick. So we do not have a 3rd round pick this year. Now that's not necessarily an issue. Only all the guys I was targeting. So for example, Jonah Ellis, Xavier Worthy, a couple of those guys I want to get in the later rounds based on their projected projection. We only have a 1 first and 1 second round pick. So I might try and trade up to get a 3rd round pick just so we can have a better shot of maybe getting one of those guys that we want. I mean, it's not the end of the world because again, this is just the first off season. Like, we don't know a whole lot about these guys. Plus, this is mainly to get younger as well as to build depth. That's really just all we're doing here, especially with this team. If I really, like, for example, if I were to rebuild a different team, or become or take over as GM as a different team, like the Buccaneers, for example, or the Vikings, even the Minnesota Vikings, I would really care much more about these because those teams are still not necessarily in championship contention. So, and they need a lot more help than the Bills do, at least in my opinion. So just what we're doing here is just trying to look at these guys as for, to build, like, just for the future, not necessarily a win now scenario, which I was just describing a win now scenario. Anyways, the point is we're trying to get younger, and I'm not as concerned with this class because this class is, 1, it's a real life class, so somebody made this class, and 2, we haven't had a whole year to scout these guys, like a lot of these guys. So, and I'm only going off of like how well I think they'll do based on their real life counterparts. But obviously the real life counterparts and the game counterparts are not necessarily the same. So there's that. And plus there's probably guys on this favorites list that we probably won't even be able to get because they might be gone, or we might find somebody else that will land to us, or they'll follow us based on where they are projected to go. So yeah. But anyway, so continuing on, I guess just explaining our mock draft order, what I have for us. So Jeremiah Trotter Jr., first round pick 28 out of Clemson. And then Xavier Worthy at the 2nd round pick, and pick number 60 overall. The next pick is in the 4th round pick, 124 overall. Jonah Ellis, I have us picking him there. Now the only concern I have is that he's a projected 2nd to 3rd rounder, and he's probably not going to make it to the 4th round. So in that case, that might be one that we might have to pick between Jeremiah Trotter and Jonah Ellis, which honestly is fine because, again, I'm okay with either of those guys. Either of them seem good. But knowing, I think what it might come down to even, and I'll get into this a little later when we actually start the draft, but what it might come down to for me is actually the fact that we know what projected talent, or what kind of talent, at least based on the round, that Jonah Ellis has, as opposed to Jeremiah Trotter. So yeah, I'll have to still think about that in the next couple minutes, but that's where we're at there. So I have us picking both of them, but we probably, based on our draft picks, we might not get both of them, unfortunately. But there are probably, I'm sure, other linebackers. As you can see, there's other ones I have in here, as well as just other guys in general throughout this draft that we could probably pick up as well that are probably decent, that we haven't really scouted or paid that much attention to. And that's just how it's going to be for this draft, at least. After that, I'm taking a right guard in the 5th. A right end in the 5th. I actually have a Shamar Turner with our own 5th round pick. The guy that's a day 3 projection. So where is he at? Should be up here. Or no, wait, that's all. Never mind. Hold on. Here we are. Jamar Turner out of Texas A&M. Have him go in there. I've also have us. Also, I know we just signed Micah Hyde, but I do have us taking Malachi Moore out of Alabama, who doesn't seem too bad. I mean, he could be really, really good. Potentially, I mean, the B awareness, that's definitely a help. Obviously, I'm not liking all the Ds I'm seeing. But I think, I mean, based on his physicals, I mean, his decent speed, he's got okay physicals, so he's probably not the top free safety choice, but he could be a lot worse. I'm just saying that right now. The fact that he has Bs in man coverage and, well, potential B in man coverage and B in tackling, that's at least good off the bat. Plus, it would just get us youthful at free safety. We can develop him at least a little bit. He might be a project, though, if he doesn't have hidden development. And just have, like, normal or whatever, which I kind of predict that he will. Let's see. Have us taken a center in the 6th round, or one of the 6th round picks, Bo Limmer out of Arkansas, and I just took him because he has A awareness for being, you know, this late in the draft. And I think that we have Mitch Morse, our center, who's been our center for a couple of years now, but he's getting older, and I think he's on his way out potentially in the next couple seasons. So getting a guy to back him up that would be more youthful and potentially even, you know, higher development rate, because I think Mitch Morse he's either normal or just star. So getting a guy that's at least star, but at, like, you know, right away would be very helpful for us to retain our offensive line. And then after that, just the last couple picks, a cornerback, Teron Arnold here out of Alabama. Another guy just again for depth purposes. I mean, Tre'Davious White is getting older, so we might consider getting a better corner earlier. But I mean, honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world if we don't. And then the last 7th round pick, Darius Robinson out of Missouri, who I was just kind of looking at here. He actually has B awareness for being a day 3 projection. And I'm not saying that's like, you know, game change, like game, you know, like that's the only reason why I'm picking him. But I mean, that is kind of the reason I'm picking him, because the guys that are surrounding him, at least like the next like 2 players either that are supposed to be are projected before him and below him, I think all have C awareness. So at least the fact that he has higher awareness is helpful, and plus we need depth at defensive tackle since we just let a ton of them go in the for free agency. So, and we didn't sign anybody in free agency for defensive tackle, so there's that. But yeah, so that is our projected just players I'm looking at for this draft. Obviously, we'll have to see how it all plays out. If they follow us, if they do, great. If they don't, we'll find somebody else that maybe even a diamond in the rough, like a Puka Nacua sort of situation. Or heck, even a Brock Purdy situation where we get someone really towards the end of the draft who absolutely turns out to be a stud because everybody passed on him. But yeah, we'll see. And obviously, I just thought of this. Since we did just sign a couple guys in free agency, we don't technically need to go after a middle linebacker. We just, as just a review, I think I don't know if I talked about this in the intro or not, but in free agency, we just signed Isaiah Simmons for the next couple of years, and we still have Terrell Bernard and Balin Spector. Terrell Bernard proved himself to be a pretty good player for us last year, and I think he went up to star development, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. So he'll develop faster. He's younger than Isaiah Simmons, and Isaiah Simmons was just kind of there, and I was like, well, it was either Isaiah Simmons or overpay for Bobby Wagner, and I say overpay because we were really like not going for Bobby Wagner because then the Vikings swooped in. But then I thought, well, if Isaiah Simmons is here and nobody's really offering on him, I guess we can take a shot at him. Plus, he's really fast. And the other thing too, for those of you who don't know, you know, haven't followed the NFL a whole lot and all these guys' careers, Isaiah Simmons can actually also play safety. I think he was either originally drafted as a safety or a linebacker, but he has played both positions since he's come into the league. So even if we, for example, let's say we lose Micah Hyde to injury or one of our safeties to injury, we have a guy that can be a backup safety, or even just to, you know, change his position back to safety if Terrell Bernard starts to go off, and we want to keep him as middle linebacker number 1, or whoever we draft if we decide to draft a middle linebacker. Which honestly, I think we probably will still draft either. Like, we might even just go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I don't want to hit. I don't want to miss on him. I really don't. But I have a good feeling that he might be really, really good. Obviously, we need to still. We still need to have a left outside linebacker, and so that's something we'll probably look at in the draft as well. Even if it's not Jordan Ellis, who we're hoping to get. But again, we can also make trades as well. So we can maybe trade up, trade down. Doesn't really matter to me. Now, something else I just remembered after just going through this, we still have Matt Milano, right outside linebacker, who was really good for the Bills defense, and unfortunately he got hurt early on in the season last year. I think midway through the season, I can't remember now. But and I think really, at least this is from what I watched, if the Bills had Matt Milano, I think for the rest of the year, I think their defense would have been much better off, and they probably would have even maybe gotten past the Chiefs in the divisional round. But unfortunately, obviously, injury plagued the Bills defense again, and they didn't have they're probably their best linebacker as of right now, currently. So yeah, it's just I kind of forgot we had him, but it's a nice surprise to know that we have him on our roster still, at least for a little while. It looks like, because it looks like they just extended him, so we could even restructure his contract if we need to. I'm not sure how much that would be, and actually we can't even do that because I think he's on IR, so that's all right. We'll look at that later. But yeah, so I mean, honestly, that's really all I have to say for this intro part. So we're the next, probably hopefully not too long, we're going to be focusing on the draft, and I really, other than what I just stated, I don't have a whole lot else going into this draft, because again, I'm kind of, this is partially me going in blind because we only have so many players scouted. So yeah, I mean, let's, get right into this. Yeah, simulate draft, that'd be bad. Yeah, I guess we can start drafting. Obviously, we don't have a pick till later, so that's kind of sucks. But actually, wait a minute. I'm gonna really quickly do something here. I'm gonna go to this staff points, because we do have staff points here to use, and there is some player personnel that we want to use, and we actually haven't even used them yet, which is a little bit unfortunate. But so let's do this first one on trades. So 5% discount on players older than 30, and then draft day every day. So let's do this one as well, 2% discount there, and let's do the other one as well. And I think that's all we're going to be able to do, sadly. So we can't guarantee trade package for current user pick during draft. So we can't unfortunately do that. And obviously I'll have to build this up. So we'll do that. But I just wanted to use the I wanted to use the staff points before we started the draft. So but yeah, so with that said, without further ado, let's get right into this draft, and yeah, let's see who is going to be the next stars of the league. So the Bears have the #1 overall pick, and here's the question: will they go with Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison Jr.? A lot of people think they're going to go with they're going to trade away Justin Fields, and they're going to go with quarterback. But I think personally, I like the Marvin Harrison pick a lot more. So we'll see what they do. So pick #1, they will indeed go with Marvin Harrison Jr. So probably the best wide receiver prospect in this class, no doubt about it. Son of Marvin Harrison, really good wide receiver in the NFL. His son goes to Chicago, so they got another receiver to pair alongside DJ Moore. So with Washington's pick here, Chop Robin. I don't think anybody had him projected going that high in real life, at least. So that's interesting. Chop Robinson out of Penn State. I don't know if I've ever actually heard of that guy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that Washington could have easily done something else there, but I mean, they chose to do what they wanted to do, I guess. And it looks like the Patriots go with Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, so they will have a new left tackle, superstar left tackle, whatever. He's not a superstar development. I'm just saying a really good left tackle out of Notre Dame. So good pick for the Patriots there, having the 3rd overall pick. They probably could have easily gone for a quarterback like Drake May, but oh well. And the Cardinals are going to go with Alu Fashanu, another left tackle. So 2 tackles off the board already, which is pretty crazy. But so the news here is that Caleb Williams is falling, and we have no idea where he's going to go at this point. But the Chargers are up here, and they will take another tackle, J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So offensive lineman seems to be the theme for this draft, and I don't think this will happen in real life. I think quarterbacks will go in the top 3. But But based on the class I chose, I think this is just what we're going to have to deal with. It's just no quarterbacks in the top 5. So that's crazy. But New York is up here, the Giants specifically. So we'll see who they pick. And they go with Gerard Verse out of Florida State. So right edge rusher, which I guess makes sense because they did lose their edge rusher. They traded away Leonard Williams during the season. I think at the trade deadline last year, or this past season in real life, which is, you know, in the game as well. So a good pick by them. Tennessee is up here with the 7th pick. They'll take Brock Bowers. That's actually a really good pick for them because I could not tell you who their tight end is at the moment. And Brock Bowers is a really good tight end out of Georgia for the Georgia Bulldogs. And, you know, I think 2-time national champion. So, yeah, really good pick by Tennessee. And Atlanta Falcons land Caleb Williams out of USC. That is probably the shock so far of the draft here. In round 1. So Atlanta has their quarterback. At least hopefully their quarterback of the future. Will that happen in real life? Who knows? But good pick by them. The Bears are going with Laiatu Latau. I think I pronounced that right. Right outside linebacker out of UCLA. So the first linebacker goes off the board to Chicago. So they got pretty good. I think Chicago did pretty well in their picks. Linebacker and, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. So there's that, but the Jets here are up next, and they will go cornerback, Kool-Aid McKinstry. So they have a cornerback now, so we'll have to worry about him now twice a year. That's going to be, you know, a thing. I wasn't as concerned with the pick before with Joe Alt, but now I'm, you know, have to worry about another corner alongside Sauce Gardner. So that defense got a little bit more scary with Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Vikings are going to pick up Jerzan Newton out of Illinois, so an edge rusher, so another edge rusher. Obviously, they didn't have Zadarius Smith. Well, this entire season, I guess he went to Cleveland. But then they're just, you know, their team in general is just younger, so getting another guy that can help out with that defensive line will be very beneficial to them, especially, you know, with Brian Flores as their defensive coordinator. And Denver goes up and picks Malik Neighbors. So LSU wide receiver goes to Denver. I am kind of surprised about this, but then again, I did just look at this before this video started, and the Broncos actually traded away Marvin Mims for some reason after 1 year to the Lions for Taylor Decker. So, and there's the Raiders going to pick Kalen King, cornerback out of Penn State. So, so far our mock draft is going as expected. Yeah, good pick for Las Vegas there as they get another cornerback. I'm not really familiar very much with their cornerback room, but any help they can get, I guess. And the Saints are going to go with right outside linebacker Dallas Turner. So he is off the board now. So unfortunately, he cannot slide to us, but that's all right. We have right outside linebackers. We would have moved him to left outside if we were to have him, but another stud linebacker from Alabama going to New Orleans. And then Tyler Newman, free safety out of Minnesota, is picked by the Indianapolis Colts. So again, I'm not really familiar with their team as much, you know, free safeties, or their secondary in particular, but good pick. I'm sure Tyler Newman's a very good player. I didn't really watch a lot of Golden Gopher football this year, but pretty good player for them pick up there. And Seahawks are on the board here. Leonard Taylor III out of Miami. Not very familiar with him as a player, but another, I guess, whatever. I'm just going to say whatever the CPU picks for these teams is probably a good pick, unless I've heard of the player and I can tell you a little bit about him. So for the Seahawks case, I have no real knowledge about that player. So still a good pickup by them. But the Jaguars are going to pick a cornerback themselves. Nate Wiggins of Clemson. Again, another player not really that familiar with. But, you know, a good pick by them nonetheless. And the picks that we're going through right here, these are actually picks I had to fix earlier. So and really the reason I had to fix a lot of these draft picks is because they were in the wrong order because of just the records. Looks like the Bengals go tight end here from Texas. Jadavion Sanders. Again, not familiar with him either, but you know, they have, who do they have? They have, they just got him too. I already forget what his name is. The guy that was on the Vikings. They had Hayden Hurst, but they got rid of him in the offseason. His name's on I see his face, but I can't, name's on my tongue. And Drake May is finally going to go at pick number 19 to the Los Angeles Rams. So they're preparing for Matt Stafford's departure if they haven't, if he hasn't left already. And the North Carolina quarterback is going to California, Southern California, to play for the Rams. Another right tackle of Oregon State goes to Pittsburgh, so they're beefing up their offensive line to help protect Kenny Pickett, or, well, whoever's at quarterback. Could be Mason Rudolph for all we know, but it'll probably be Kenny Pickett at this rate. But yeah, I think the reason why the draft picks were messed up, at least earlier on in the draft, is because all the teams have the same record. So for some reason, the code in the game just didn't recognize them in the right order. So that's probably why they were wrong. But Miami picks here at number 21, Mason Smith out of LSU, so an edge rusher. So we're still pretty good for our mock draft here. I know I'm going through all these picks really slowly and just watching them go play by play, but I promise you this will only do this for the first round, as Eagles go edge rusher as well. Braylon Trice out of Washington. So played in the national championship game. Unfortunately lost to the Michigan, but declare for the draft. I actually hope he declared for the draft. I didn't actually see him declare for the draft, but oh well, I guess Philadelphia gets a player from Washington. There you go. But yeah, so I mean, and Texans gonna go left guard, also from Washington. So another national championship runner-up player, Troy Fontuatu. So Fontuanu, I need to say that name right. So Dallas is on the clock now here, pick number 24. We're coming up here shortly. Graham Barton, so left tackle out of Duke, is taken by Dallas. So I mean, honestly, I guess we could have maybe projected to get him, but he was probably too high for us to even try. I would have had to trade up in the first round, and I really don't feel like that. At least for this draft, again, like I said, we're not really building. We're building for the future, but we're also just trying to just fill in holes at this point. And we have a nice running back here to go. Our first running back off the board for Green Bay, Trey Benson out of Florida State. So again, not really familiar with his game either, but I guess a good pickup by Green Bay there. Put him in the same backfield as Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And the Buccaneers end up drafting Jaden Daniels out of LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner. Not necessarily in this game, but in real life, a Heisman Trophy winner going to Tampa Bay. Now, I can tell you for a fact, I'll pause this for a second here. I can tell you for a fact that is probably not going to happen. Just because I follow the Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield seemed to do just fine, and I think if they don't extend him, they'll probably go to some guy they already have in their roster, like Kyle Trask or even just someone else. I mean, they could go for Jaden Daniels if he's available, but I even think Jaden Daniels will probably be taken earlier by like Las Vegas or something. But this is Madden, and this is just based on how the game code works. So Jaden Daniels falls to Tampa Bay, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'll be the starter or if it'll be Baker, but I kind of hope it'll be Baker because he's actually had a career reviving year inside of Tampa. But again, I guess we'll see how that turns out. But good pick by Tampa Bay there. So now we have our pick here up at pick number 28. Finally, I know that took a little bit while to go through those first 27 picks, but Arizona Agency took the corner out of Iowa. So our first player is actually still on the board, which is crazy. But there are other options here too if we really want to consider them. So Barrett Carter here out of Clemson. JT Tiumo-Olau. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But I'm actually going to take a little bit of time here just to kind of look through all these guys here. So this guy's 100% scouted, 2 to 3 talent, but he is 100 or around 2 projection. I do see that. Yeah, I mean, he's not nearly as good as some other guys. We do have wide receivers here though that have not been taken yet. So definitely considering taking them. Rome Odunze. He's from Washington, so played in the national title game as well. He might have been one that actually either declared or still staying. I can't remember now. Let's see. Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Michael Penix Jr. is still here as well out of Washington, or the Washington quarterback. I know he declared. Amika Buka is still here. So I'm surprised he is still here this late in the draft, or this late in the first round, but I guess we can take a look at him briefly here. He's not the greatest necessarily. B awareness. definitely can look at someone else probably. Kean Coleman, I guess we can look at him. 6'4", decent speed, great strength though, elite agility, elite, what was the other one? Elite jumping. A to C awareness. You know what? This is going to be a tough decision because we have so many options here that we can go for. Yeah, no, we're not going quarterback. Every option except for quarterback. We do have Patrick Paul here as well. Left tackle looks like. Not the greatest left tackle position, no, or player though. But like way down here, Jeremiah Trotter's down here at 23, and I mean, he's still here. I mean, it easily could go here, but A awareness, B block shedding. I mean, I don't know, man. This is tough because I was hoping to get Jeremiah Trotter Jr., but we could potentially get him in the second round based on how many players still need to go. Let's look at the wide receivers, just filter them here because that's going to be one of our, you know, picks here. And Xavier Worthy is another, like I said, it was the one that we looked at here. So he has great speed, but his strength is poor. A, B awareness, B, C, A, deep route, B, short route, D, run block, A, medium route. So his route running is not terrible. Actually, route running decent. Excuse my voice cracking. Let's see. So Xavier, I've never heard of this guy. Xavier Leggett? Ooh, he's fast. Wow. 4.26. Yeah. Yeah, so he's not only strong, but he's also fast. He's 6'3". Of South Carolina. B to D awareness. B. Okay, his route running is a little not the greatest, but I mean, yeah, you trade up speed for. You got Brian Thomas Jr. as well, but he's 3rd to 4th round projection. I don't know if I think I can wait on him if I want to go for him. Ooh, it's a tough one. Because really, this guy is going to be either Diggs' replacement, Stephon Diggs' replacement, or just a replacement so far for Gabe Davis. But I think it'll be probably Stephon Diggs' replacement eventually. But a lot of deep threat guys, obviously, that's our scheme fit, or that's our, our scheme. But yeah, I mean, honestly, and we already have a lot of wide receivers too, so this will just be kind of adding to that, there. I guess another position we can consider is linebacker, and I mean, would it be dumb to use Jonah Ellis or pick on Jonah Ellis at this point in the draft? I mean, he's 2 to 3 projection, but he's a round 1 to 2 talent. If we can get him in the second round, I think that would be actually a good idea. I don't even know when's our next pick. I want to see. It's pick 60 overall. I think it's still pick 28. Yeah, it's pick 28. So I want to pick a player here, obviously. I just want to, because I don't know if I want to go middle linebacker here now, because there's receivers that we could easily go for, like Xavier Leggett, or the guy. I'm butchering his name. I apologize if anybody watching this knows how to pronounce this guy's name, but yeah, 227. Oh, he's already 23 though, so I mean that is another thing to consider. He's already one of the older guys in the draft. The more C's than anything. But in terms of just overall athleticism, he's better than even Xavier Worthy and even Romeo Odunze. But Odunze is he's 21, right? 22. Okay. So good speed, solid wide receiver, A to C awareness. I mean, he would really, any of these guys, I guess, like I said, this could just be a nice addition to the team. But do I go wide receiver in round 1, or do I go linebacker? What do we need more of? I'm just trying to think, because, well, here's the thing. I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to go wide receiver in this first round, because there's just way too many talent here to pass up on. And then by the time our second round pick comes around, we're going to go with our left outside linebacker that we want to pick, which is, so we are passing on Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Well, actually, or do I go back up? You know, honestly, because it's not the end of the world if we have to wait until, because let me look at the later round receivers. Because if we need to wait on wide receiver, we can as well. Like Xavier Worthy's 2 to 3, Troy Franklin's 3 to 4. I do like Troy Franklin. Great speed. I mean, poor strength. Honestly, wait, he has all greats, right? Oh no, he has jumping solid. You know what? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for wide receiver until later, and we're gonna go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because I feel like that he's the best projected right now. Now, let me just look at the other guys here. Mondon's not actually going to be drafted in real life. So that is need to be fixed, but that's all right. We can ignore that for right now. So we'll not draft him, I guess. Ooh. That, nah, I think, like I said, I think we go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I mean, his speed is poor, so he's not there very fast. But I don't know if I can pass up on that A awareness, A tackle, A zone coverage, B pursuit, B play rec, A to B injury, B to whatever stamina catching, A, B finesse moves. I mean, that's actually pretty good. So, I don't know, man. This is tough. This is really, really tough. All right, you know, I think what we're going to do, I think we are going to indeed go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson, 21 years old, 230 pounds, field general archetype, shows good discipline, won't get flagged much, often looks to rip away the ball from runners. That's what we like. Has a motor that runs through the whistle. Wait. Okay. Savvy defender of ball in the air. He has his skills. His skills outlast his athleticism, at least for me, as a scout right now. He's not going to be very fast, and that's the only downside. But I want a linebacker that we can at least, obviously Isaiah Simmons is kind of like, a dual threat. Well, not dual threat, but he's more versatile in that fact that he can play safety. So if we need to move him to a different part of the field, we can. But I need a guy that's just going to be alongside, I already figured his name, Terrell Bernard. I need a guy alongside Terrell Bernard who's young, and who's very strong, because based on at least the talent, I'm also just thinking about this now too, based on the talent of teams that are in the league, like in terms of running backs and, just running backs in general. Like, I mean, we're talking just in the AFC alone. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Travis Etienne, let's see, another guy. Oh, Breece Hall, I guess you could say, for the Jets. Let's see, Devon A-Chain, like all these guys that are good running backs. Like, I need a guy that's just going to be able to be more of a just a guy that's just going to be strong enough to stop the run, as well as, make some plays in the passing game. And I think that Jeremiah Trotter here is probably our best bet, just because he's the best player, at least on paper, ranked, and everybody else I've looked at does not even seem close to him, at least in the middle linebacker department. Now, granted, there's probably guys we could draft at an edge linebacker, and we could probably take and move them to middle, but I think that it's too much to pass on this guy. Obviously, it's a later round draft, first round pick, so it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world if we miss on this. I really hope we don't, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with our first round pick here, and it's going to be Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. So, yeah, I mean, with that said, I mean, we don't really know what his talent is, but he seems pretty good across the board. So let's pick him right here. And there he is. He is hidden development, 83 strength, 78 speed, 80 excel, 79 agility. So he is, like I said, he's not very fast. In fact, he's probably one of the slowest linebackers I've seen. But there's room for improvement. The fact that he's at least star development is a good sign. Is a really good sign. Obviously, his jumping as well, I mean, change of direction. He probably has more 90s than I'm not seeing currently, or at least maybe higher 80s, but those are the most important, athletic ratings. So we'll look at those later on when we get to the draft recap, but I think this was a good pick by us. We probably could have gotten somebody better, but yeah, I think this was probably the best bet for us at this point, at least where we're at right now. So welcome to Buffalo, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. All right, so we are now at our second round pick. I've just fast forwarded the draft a little bit just to make this a little bit faster and a little bit, less of time wasted for you guys watching. Plus, it just doesn't take me as long to record this. But we're fast forward to our next draft pick, and I almost skipped ahead in the draft again. Hopefully, our guy that we want is here. Now, I'm not sure. Obviously, we're pick 28, so hopefully he is. And it does not look like he is, unfortunately. So he was taken. So Jonah Ellis is not here, and it really bums me out because I thought we were going to be able to get him at this second round pick. And Xavier Worthy's gone as well. So that really kind of screws us up, at least in our mock draft. But, you know, we have other guys that are here that could easily retake or easily, you know, replace those guys. Obviously, we have other linebackers and whatnot. So there's that. But, man, that kind of bites. That really bites, because I bet you anything that Jonah Ellis was probably a decent left outside linebacker that we could have easily picked up. So the fact that we're not getting him, it, you know, even in the second round, just goes to show you how much, you know, teams, like there's a certain team out there that needed him more than us, obviously. Now, was he better than Jeremiah Trotter? We'll find that out at the draft recap. But yeah, so that kind of bites and messes up with plans a little bit. But obviously no worries, because that means our next 2 picks are gone, but our projected picks at least. But we still have guys here that we can easily take. For example, we have Patrick Paul here out of Houston. Still a great offensive tackle, one of the better ones left. And the only reason why I would take an offensive tackle is because now our offensive line is pretty good. Not saying it's bad. We still have a lot of the guys from last year. We still have, you know, the rookie Osiris Torrance. We still have Spencer Brown. We still, actually, I think we have our whole entire offensive line still. The only guys we lost last year, I think, might have been David Edwards, who was a backup left guard. So the fact that we still have our whole offensive line means we don't technically need to go offensive line right now, because, again, we have a solid offensive line. We might need to focus on that in the next draft, but not this one. And with that attitude in mind, I'm going to just, you know, move myself away from Patrick Paul as much as I really want to take him. Because now obviously we have to look for a guy that's going to be able to fill up this second round to pick, you know, with pick 28. It's a late second round pick, so it's almost a third round pick practically, which is good because we don't have a third round pick. So there's that. But yeah, what I think what we're going to do is, it looks like Edgerrin Cooper's here, right outside linebacker out of Texas A&M. And ooh, he has elite speed. Well, elite speed, but he's a actually, that's one of the faster linebackers. You know what? I think we might take this guy. Because he's 22 years old. He's 225 pounds, 6'3". And you know what? He's a speed rusher. That's not a scheme fit for us, is it? Speed rusher is not even it's not even a scheme fit for us for the left side, but he could maybe potentially replace Jordan Ellis. I wasn't really necessarily going to go for him, but if he's here, he's got more B's than I can see, or then obviously then projected B to D, whatever. But I mean, I guess we can really briefly look at the linebackers that are still left for the left side. Yeah, obviously Princely. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, from Florida. 100% scouted, but he's 3 to 4 projected, but he's second round projected, but 3 to 4 talent, and I can definitely see that. As you can see, C hit power, B awareness. So he has similar awareness to the guy we were just looking at, but what does he have that's better than him? Because that's all I need to kind of compare this here. So B man coverage, so I think that's already better. A pursuits. Just the only thing with Edgerrin Cooper is there's a lot unknown about him. So the fact that we have this guy here who has a whole scout report done, excuse me. Yeah, the man coverage, yeah, it's B to D. Well, actually, is it B to D or is it B to D on the other guy too? I think it might be. Let me see here. So looks like, yeah, it's B to D. So this guy could either be the exact same or worse. Or better. Then, you know what? I think because this is an unplanned pick, I might take Edgerrin Cooper. We might take 2 linebackers back-to-back picks. Because our next receiver that I want to take is not projected till the 3rd, 4th round, which, I mean, actually, well, okay, hold on. To be fair, we probably should consider that. And I think he's high up on the list, too. Just give me a minute here. So where's he projected at right now? He's the top guy left. Okay. So actually, we might have to do this right now. We might have to take Troy Franklin if we're going to get him, because otherwise he's going to be gone by the time our next pick happens. So he's 6'3". He has a lot of work to be done. B to D awareness, B spec catch, C release, C medium route. Just a lot of unknowns with him though. You know what? I think we should stick with our original plan, and I think we should go with wide receiver here. Because, but I don't want to miss out on that linebacker. Because that linebacker could be a stud for all we know. Adrian Cooper could be an absolute stud for all we know. Now, granted, we would move him to left outside linebacker, but, I mean, he's got. Oh, but then again, looking at these other guys, I mean, day 3 projected Curtis Jacobs. He looks about the same. He's just got potentially better stats off the bat, but I mean, that's, I don't know, man. Let's see here. Do we have anybody else that's 100% scouted? Don't think so. Yeah, honestly, I mean, he dropped a significant ton, 96. So, I mean, 96 spots on the draft board. So I'm not sure exactly why, but that could be a little concerning. I mean, meanwhile, let's see, Troy Franklin also dropped a decent amount, but Brian Thomas Jr. is still here as well from LSU. Good speed, BDA spec, A spec catch. So if we want that, I guess. But isn't he shorter? Oh no, he's actually taller. Ooh, that makes us even more of a tough choice here. Do we go wide receiver or do we go linebacker? You know what? Here's the thing we're going to do. I think we're going to go linebacker again. I might regret this decision, but I just don't see us. I know I said it with the last pick too, but there's just too much about this guy that I like, Adrian Cooper, that it would feel foolish of us to pass up, especially since it's basically a 3rd round pick. Now, granted, over the season he's dropped a lot, so that's probably something to consider. But we have depth at linebacker, but it would be really nice to at least have a nice left outside linebacker. I mean, we could always, I guess, sign one in free agency, but our cap situation is not the greatest, so we couldn't even do that. So for now, I think we're going to go with Adrian Cooper, and hopefully we don't miss on this one. I really, really hope we don't. Either that, or I think we just go with what we were going to do originally, which was the only reason I'm also wanting to pick this guy right now is because he's based on his projection. I'm not going to be able to pick him up in the 4th round, because unless there's something wrong with him that like he keeps him passed on, he's not as strong, but he's faster, and I think that yeah. I mean, this, like I said, this is just tough when you're really just trying to just add players, even just, well, I guess just normal drafting in general, but when you really don't have an idea of what these guys are like because they're only 50% scouted, you're kind of just going off of like, you're kind of just trying to make the best guess that you think is going to be right for the team. So that's what we're doing here. And I think Adrian Cooper, again, like I said, might regret it, but I can't pass. I can get a wide receiver in the 4th round. This wide receiver class is deep. I think I can get him in the 4th round. I think I can. So yeah, we're gonna go with Adrian Cooper here, and I'm hopefully not gonna regret it. So from Texas A&M, 225 pounds, 6'3", speed rusher. We're gonna move him to the left side, and hopefully he's gonna be an absolute stud of a player. And he is, 88 speed, hidden development again, 91 acceleration. So not as strong though, 671. So he's probably he's either a low 70s or a under 70 overall. But I mean, for this 88 speed, 91 excel, he's going to be chasing receivers and running backs all over the field. So he's going to be able to track them down and hopefully keep up with them a little bit better than some other guys would. But a nice replacement for, I don't know who we let walk, but whoever our left outside linebackers were last year. He'll definitely be a good replacement for that. So that's our 2nd round pick, Adrian Cooper. Welcome to the team. All right, so we have fast forwarded now to our 4th round pick, late in the 4th round. All these round picks are late in the 4th round, except for the upcoming ones because they're traded with other teams. Now I'm just praying that we have a decent wide receiver here that's going to be able to be, picked up here by our, and I mean, sadly, as you can see, we only have like a couple of our guys left here. So unfortunately, let's look at our wide receiver room here. What do we have? So Jermaine Burton, see, all of those wide receivers, like I predicted, would be gone, and it's just kind of unfortunate. But I mean, that's part of the risk of not drafting a guy, you know, sooner that you want. So we have Jermaine Burton out of Alabama here, another deep threat. A run block, AC awareness, D medium route, C release, DB route. Okay. 23 years old though, so he's a little older. Arian Smith out of Georgia, elite speed, so 4.24 is actually pretty fast. But he's 6 foot. So far no guys I've found here that are under 6 feet tall. Well, I guess these guys are, but Adonai Mitchell, another scheme fit. I'm kind of looking more at the scheme fits at the moment. Solids all across the board looks like, so not a bad option either. Under 200 pounds. Mario Williams out of USC. Nice, decent receiver as well. I think we just take the best receiver available, Jermaine Burton. Because like I said, there's really not a whole lot else here. Plus, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this guy hopefully is B awareness or something, but Arian Smith, elite speed, C definitely, yeah. I think we just go with, we're going to go with Jermaine Burton here because we need a guy that's just going to be a deep threat. I mean, he's F catching. That's terrible. He has F catching. Does anybody else not have F catching? I guess D catching, F catching, like. And what's funny is that there's probably, I mean, Dorian Singer's here too from USC, but there's probably like, they have like, you know, B to D catch, or like C catching or something, but it's probably not bad. It just makes it look bad compared to the rest of the guys in the class. So I'm still probably going to take Jermaine Burton. He's probably not going to be a hidden development player, but yeah, I really have no other option that I feel like I can pick. I guess I can go look at Shamar Turner real quickly because he might be a guy that we want to pick as well, or consider picking here. I mean, he's at day 3 projection, so he can go anytime in the next couple rounds. Yeah, so I mean, he's 90%. I mean, he's not terrible, but I mean, if we really need him, I guess we can grab him. But I also have Jaden Hicks here. I forgot that I actually put this guy in here. For strong safety. Hit power A, he probably has a decent hit power, like 80 plus hit power. Our cornerback is still here as well. Who I might pick up, hopefully he's available next. But honestly, if I'm probably gonna say this right now, if none of my favorites are even here in the next pick, I'm probably gonna just, ooh, Joe Milton's here too. I'm probably gonna just go and just sim the rest of the picks and just see what the CPU picks us up, just so that way we're not doing this for about 2 hours. So we're gonna pick Jermaine Burton. He's 6 foot, 201 pounds, 23. He's older, but I don't see another receiver that's quite as good as him. I know that's sad, and I know we have a lot of receivers, but I think because we passed on 2 receivers already that we could have easily taken last pick when we got Edgerrin Cooper, I think that Jermaine Burton is our best bet if we want to draft a receiver, because otherwise we're going to be picking from the bottom of the pile, and we don't like that. So, or I'm not really that big of a fan of that. So this might be a reach, but Jermaine Burton out of Alabama, you know, coached under Nick Saban for however many years. Obviously Nick Saban is retired now in real life, but you know, at one of the best schools in college football history. I think this guy is I think he's going to be a Buffalo Bill. I think we can make that happen. Yeah, you know what? I'm praying that this is still hidden. But we'll see. I'm not, you know, luck has to run out at some point. So we'll make the pick here. Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, deep threat out of Alabama. Here we go. And he's normal. So the luck runs out there. But still 91 speed, 97 acceleration. My goodness. 67 strength. So he's probably under 70 overall. 87 agility, that's not bad, but 97 acceleration. So yeah, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but I mean, that acceleration, he's probably going to be able to break off relatively easily. So still, I think a good pick there. At least he's over 6. At least he is at 6 feet tall. He is older though. But again, this is just what we had to settle for because we picked so late. So, and I was not willing to trade any of our draft picks that we have to trade up or anything. So, Jermaine Burton was our pick here. So, welcome to Buffalo. All right, so our next pick here is going to be in the 5th round, and this is actually not our pick. This is actually Green Bay's pick that we somehow acquired. I'm not sure exactly how, but let's see who is available here that's still on our list. And it looks like it's only Jaden Hicks. So, which honestly, that's not a bad pick, but I mean, Joe Milton's here too. So, quarterback out of Tennessee. I mean, elite strength, elite throw power. I mean, we obviously have Josh Allen, so we don't need a quarterback, but he is falling. I mean, actually, I guess this guy's falling too. He's projected 2-3, whatever, but he might be good. You never know. I mean, he's not very. I might even just pick him because Jordan Poyer's getting older, and DJ James is here as well from Auburn. Poor speed though. I mean, A tackle though, so that's decent. But let's see. Mario Williams is still here as well. Solid speed though. Could be better than one of our receivers we already have, but we'll see. But you know what? I think what we're gonna do. Dorian Singer's also here. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick Jaden Hicks because I don't see why people are passing on. Well, hold on. Before I make that decision, I'm gonna go to the different strong safeties and I'm gonna see if he's truly like someone we want to actually consider even getting. Because if we can find a better guy that's below him, I guess I'll do that. But see hit power. I mean, day 3 projection. I mean, I don't know why people are passing on him, but I mean, because he could be a bust or he could be one of the best players in the draft. You never know. You know, I really, again, like, I would be more concerned about picking this guy up if it was like, you know, a team I'm actually really trying to rebuild. But this guy is, again, a lot of this is for depth. A lot of this is for getting younger, getting cheaper, and just trying to retain and reload the roster so that way we're ready to make another Super Bowl run. And hopefully this time actually get over the hump. So that's really the whole goal of this entire franchise series, is to do that. So I think because he's in our favorites list, I'm going to pick Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. He's got poor acceleration, poor change of direction, poor jumping. So he's not very athletic. Actually, I don't even know how he's even around a 2-3 projection. He's got 8 hit power. That's the only thing he's got. Because my only fear is that we'll be like picking like a 50 or something overall. Not that we would, but there's probably better options here in the upper round. Like there's still you know, DJ James here, who's, you know, 6'1", 23 years old, not very fast. But then again, by the time we get into the 5th round, he may or may not stay on this. Plus, it's a 5th round pick. I mean, it's not the worst. I'm just going to take a chance on Jaden Hicks. We'll find out in a second why he's kept dropping. But, you know, Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. Strong safety. Going to back up Jordan Poyer. Welcome to the team, buddy. Yeah, see, normal development. That's what I thought. 87 speed, though. 88 agility. Unfortunately, no hit power, but we'll find it out in the draft recap. But Jaden Hicks, not a bad pickup from there. But what I'm going to do now, actually, is I'm going to actually sim the rest of these draft picks. So that way we're not, you know, this isn't going on for, like I said, like a 2-hour-long video. Not that I have a problem with that, but I just think that you guys would probably enjoy it if it's a little shorter. So we're going to, whoops, I'm going to, hold on. Let me pause the draft again. We have a pick in the next, well, actually, no. I'm going to just, actually, wait, you know what? We're going to sim to our next user pick, which is in 2 picks. And we're going to either look at what's here. If we don't like what's here, we're going to trade him away. Joe Milton's here. I could just pick him up and just see what he's like. But I think we need more, you know. We could easily find a nice stud in here somewhere. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, though, is as much as I really want to, probably, well, let me just see what I could trade this away for. Because if I could trade this away for a decent amount of picks, oh, just a 5th. Oh, actually a 5th and a 7th round pick for next draft. Oh, but a 7th round for this year, yeah. So we get a 5th round to be determined. A 5th round to be determined. 217, 195. I mean, the Raiders aren't probably going to be good that, you know, in that sort of time. You know what? We're not going to trade him away. We're probably just gonna. I want to make another. I want to make at least one more selection to at least try and redeem myself from those two. Um, you know, but I think. Do I want to spend it on a quarterback? Because Joe Milton is here from Tennessee. Elite throw power, elite strength, F awareness though. I mean, he's probably like Trey Lance. Probably just fast over top motion. He's a backup. That's all he's going to be, is just like, a backup quarterback. I mean, as much as he wants to be a starter, you know what? I think because he's in the 5th round, I think we're going to do it, because I don't think he's going to be here for any longer. And plus, it's just, he's going to be up behind Josh Allen. It's not that big of a deal, at least in my eyes. He's already 23 too. So we'll take Joe Milton here. And yeah, he's normal. 97 throw power though. That's not too bad. But yeah, like I said, he's just going to be a backup. So he might be eventually a starter, but not for like years down the line. He may never be a starter, unfortunately, but oh well. So, but yeah, with that, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to skip to the end of the draft, and we're going to see what the CPU picks us up in the 6th and 7th rounds. And hopefully we get some good players. Alrighty, so we are now at the end of the draft here, and let's look at our draft recap. Looks like our cap is kind of in shambles at this point, negative 1.757 million, but that's just because of drafting the rookies and having guys in our roster. We probably need to restructure a couple more contracts, but we'll focus on that either later this episode or next episode, probably next episode. But yeah, so let's get into this draft recap and let's see what our rookie contracts look like in our overalls. And whoa, okay. So Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a 76 overall. Not bad. Not bad whatsoever. It says we have 10.6 million in cap space, so I'm not sure where the negative is coming from. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr. here, first round pick by us, number 44. I actually need to make sure that. You know what? We'll keep him having that number for right now. I might change it later on, but yeah, motivation. So he doesn't even want. He's not really that interested in being in this team, anyways. But I just like to look at that sometimes. But yeah, so 6'3", 230, easily. I'm not gonna look at the dev trait because I just don't want to. Next was another linebacker. This time out of Texas A&M, Edrin Cooper. Ratings here, 88 speed, 91 excel. All of his ratings are here. 93 stamina, that's pretty good. Agility is there as well. Tackle, he's definitely going to be a project. But at least the fact that he has star, at least right now, is pretty good. Let's see, what was Jeremiah Trotter? Let me just look at his let's look at his stats here. So block shedding, 92 injury, that's pretty good. 84 toughness, power moves. Ooh, so he's definitely not necessarily able to be an edge rusher or like a defensive end, so that's all right. I mean, we don't necessarily need that right now anyways, but there's that. Our next pick, Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. So the only guy we could really get, unfortunately, because of just all the guys that we passed on. So 97 excel, 891 speed, 79 catching traffic, 76, so not bad of a pick, honestly. Let's see, so yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, he's 23 years old, obviously normal development, under 70, 69 overall. That's not terrible. Jaden Hicks, our first 5th round pick out of Washington State. 83 hit power. For saying A hit power, that's actually kind of low, and I'm actually kind of disappointed in that. 94 stamina is helpful because it means he won't get tired as easily, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be a backup, and that's really what he was drafted to be. Let's see, Joe Milton. Just because, why not? He probably won't be number 1 though. I'll probably change that right now. Just give me a second here. We're just gonna go in here. I'm gonna give him a number that he can have. That's we'll give him number 9. That's probably fine for now. Just because I don't want him to necessarily have number 1. Just my own personal preference. And looks like the CPU drafted us Ladarius Henderson, Storm Duck. I'm familiar with him a little bit. Derek Harriman, and Braden McGregor. So we did get an edge rusher. 66, 66, 62, and 63. So not as good as I was hoping for. But let's just see what they got us here. So Ladarius Henderson, a backup left tackle for sure. 91 stamina, 87 injury. Lead block, run block. Yeah, so definitely a project player. But definitely able to be a backup. And he's from Michigan, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, yep. Storm Duck out of Louisville, cornerback. Rookie 23-year-old, 92 speed. That's actually pretty good. 98 injury with morale, 92 stamina, 84 toughness, 85 agility. That zone and man coverage, that zone coverage is actually close enough to a 70 that he probably can be more of a zone corner, which is what he is anyways. So that's good. I guess just another depth guy. Again, like I said, this was just wholly for depth in this draft, but also getting younger. Derek Cannon, defensive tackle, rookie out of Michigan State. 97 injuries. So those, those injuries, or those stamina, injury, and toughness ratings, most people probably don't necessarily. They aren't the flashiest ratings in the world because it's injury. Like but they're actually is more important than I think some people realize, because that determines how much a player gets injured, not how much they get injured, how much of a chance they have of getting injured, and then the stamina is obviously for how much they have a chance of getting tired and like losing their energy on the field while during the game. So power move's pretty good. 91 strength. Is he 300 pounds? He is 320 pounds, so pretty big dude. And then the last one was Braden McGregor, also out of Michigan, 62 overall as well. So no more hidden devs, but that's all right. Yeah, 86 toughness, 77 speed, 80 acceleration. So not too shabby. Not too shabby of a draft. Obviously, we could have had a lot better, but now comes the fun part, in that I'm going to go back in the draft and I'm going to see who I passed up on. So Marvin Harrison Jr. was an 80 overall. Who was the highest overall in this draft? So 80 overall, Marvin Harrison. Joe Alt was 79. Brock Bowers. Blake Corum was a 78 overall running back. So that's pretty good. Let's see. Quarterback Caleb Williams was a 78. Malik Neighbors was a 77, all before our pick. We actually got one of the top players in the draft, looks like. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. The 8th, we'll tie for 8th best ranked player, along with all these other guys. Javon Bullard, Dallas Turner here picked at the Saints. Kalen King. Pretty good here. Jonathan Brooks, 74 overall guy. I'm assuming he's a hidden development player. He is. And it looks like Xavier Worthy, funny enough. Let me just... Oh yeah, let's look in the first round. So who was picked after our pick that we passed up on? Because that's what really I'm kind of curious about now. So we obviously picked Jeremiah Trotter Jr. What was Jaden Daniels? 72 overall? Pretty good. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Devondre Sweat was picked overall 70. JT Tuimolu was 72. Was he hidden? I think he was probably hidden. He was. So we passed up on the hidden edge rusher. That's all right. We got defense anyways, because Jeremiah Trotter was probably going to go there if we didn't pick him up. So there you go. Trayvon Henderson and Cameron Kitchens as well by the Chiefs. Second round. Javon Bullard, Blake Corum. Oh, Blake. Oh, wow, they hit really big here at the Cardinals. Nice job, guys. Barrett Carter, despite him being, lower whatever, he was still a hidden development, and now he's on the Patriots, so that's fun. 92 excel. Not to me. Rome Adunzi. I said Romeo before. It's Rome Adunzi. Was hidden development. 92, 95 agility. So yeah, so Titans got themselves a stellar wide receiver in the second round because I passed up on them. The Giants ended up going with Michael Penix Jr., who was also hidden development. 90 throw power, not bad. So New York has a new quarterback. Not sure if they're going to start him over Daniel Jones, but we'll find out. Packers go JJ McCarthy, which I find hilarious because I think they're going to stick with Jordan Love in real life. But I mean, McCarthy, he could get drafted, he could go undrafted. Who knows what's going to happen in real life? Cedric Van, what was that? Pran Grange. Never heard of that. Cooper Beebe there. Bo Nix goes to Minnesota, which I guess is good. I mean, he's a good backup, I guess. 88 throw power, so not terrible. 87 break sack. That's a higher break sack rating. And then Michael Pratt goes to the Saints. Jonah Ellis goes to the Raiders, and he is a 72 overall. So I did pass up on him. Unfortunately, 86 speed. Obviously, he's gone. So was gone by the time I was able to pick in the second round. So a little unfortunate, but you know what? It is what it is. Emeka Egbuka was picked by the Eagles, 74 overall. I don't know why I passed up on him. I'm trying to remember now, but because he was kind of slow. 87 speed, 95 excel. So I mean, the excel is probably what's going to make him still a deep, like an actual threat in the on the field. But there's that. Keenan Coleman, another wide receiver I passed up on, also hidden development, 93 speed, 88. So yeah, 88 speed. Excuse me. So yeah, a lot of the guys I passed up on are going to go in this round, I'm assuming, because that just makes sense. Xavier Leggetti, How fast was he? I want to find out this. 96 speed. Oh my goodness. So yeah, definitely I missed out on an opportunity there. You picked a linebacker that may or may not start. That's all right. Again, there's hit or misses every time. Who knows? They might even not have a whole lot. That's all right. Denzel Burke goes there. Xavier Worthy goes to the Dolphins, and he has 95 speed. That's just that hurts a little bit because I was really hoping to get him. Assuming he was hidden as well. Yep. So he's at least a star development player. So Miami has another wide receiver we have to worry about twice a year. That's fantastic. So it looks like Patrick Paul went right after us, and he's a 69 overall, but he is hidden development, so that actually I guess helps for Detroit's sake. But they did just sign a left tackle in the offseason, so he'll probably be a backup. But then again, their left tackle they just signed is actually pretty good. Yeah, actually he's old, so he'll probably start sooner than we think. Jonathan Brooks was taken after us. Javon Foster also taken there, and Cameron Ward by the Chiefs. Round 3, let me just see. Tommy Eichenberg ended up being a 70. I don't think he was hidden though. He was hidden. Wow. Okay. Based on his, his projected stats, I just could not tell that he was going to be that, but that's all right. Sometimes the game tricks you, Let's see. Spencer Rattler went to the Bears. Maurice Mims went to there. Luke Lackney went there. Samuel Mondon Jr. went to the Raiders, and he was also hidden. So another middle linebacker that we could have easily gotten later if we did not get Jeremiah Trotter, but we have Jeremiah Trotter, so I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, it sucks that we passed up on it, but you know what? It's all right. Nasir Stackhouse was a 70 overall. Only normal development, though. Kind of surprised about that. 96 strength, though. That's pretty good. By Indianapolis. Also, I am just looking at these, and I just realized that we forgot to completely take a center, like I was planning to, but oh well. Oh, it looks like Brendan Rice. That's funny. So for those of you that don't know, this guy is Brendan Rice's son of Jerry Rice, who's a very famous NFL wide receiver, played for the 49ers primarily. And now funny enough, in this franchise, his son, Brendan Rice, is going to be playing for his father's old team. So that's pretty exciting for them. You gotta imagine. Very much of a steal wide receiver here for the Ravens. Oh, wow. 87. I mean, he's not very fast, but I mean, it's not bad for, that. Let's see. Look in the 4th round here. Jordan Travis does get drafted by the Cardinals, but not till later. Let's see. Anybody else that sticks out? Sam Hartman from Notre Dame goes to the Jaguars. Malachi Moore does get drafted by the Bengals. We did not have the opportunity to draft him, but he's probably not as good as I thought he was going to be, but that's all right. Who else did we try and draft? Or do they think I'm drafting here? I'm trying to look. Zach Frazier is here, also for the Bears. Not bad. Could be better. So let's see. After us, Audric Estime from Notre Dame went to Minnesota. And he's also normal, but he has a 71 overall. Pretty decent running back, too. That's actually kind of nice. Let's see. Just want to see who else is after Minnesota here, or after our pick, I should say, Jermaine Burton. Omar Spikes. That guy, round 5. Donnie Mitchell, who was a 71 overall. That's kind of interesting. 90 speed, 93 excel. Hidden development, though. I don't know if he was hidden development. No, he wasn't. Interesting. Okay. So I was going to say it was all for naught, but we got a normal development receiver, too. So there's that. Arian Smith went to the Bears. 69 overall. Also normal. 97 speed, though. Oh, 97 speed, 98 excel. He's going to be a speed demon if he develops properly. Frank Gore Jr., Frank Gore's son, goes to Indianapolis. That's kind of interesting. Let's see. So we picked Jaden Hicks at our pick, but we could have easily gotten Tony Grimes, who was picked 27, 95 overall, or 95 speed corner, not 95 overall corner. Let's see, but who else went after us? Actually, we had 2 picks in the 5th round. Joe Milton was the other one. But we could have gotten another guy, a corner. We chose to go that route instead. No hidden developments, though. I'm not really seeing any late round hidden development talents, but that's all right. So looking in round 6, anybody noteworthy that we missed out on? Who was the highest person in round 6? 69 overall, Deuce Chestnut from the Patriots. Decent guy. Also, I do love how Christian Isian is here, and I don't know why he's in this one because he's already in the league, but I might have to fix that because he's the guy that the Buccaneers currently have, who was a rookie this last year. So I don't even know how in the heck he's. Let's say it's a twin brother or something, but that's something I might have to fix. So I'll probably fix that between episodes, but or eventually at least. But yeah, so Xavier Thomas goes to the Buccaneers. Mr. Irrelevant is Jalen Catalon, who I'm also kind of familiar with just based on how long I've been playing Madden. But yeah, so he goes to Houston. Last pick of the draft, Houston Texans. So there we go. So yeah, that's really just a nice little quick draft recap. Obviously, next week is going to be or if we advance one more week, it's going to be the preseason, so we could easily do that. I just kind of want to look at obviously we can adjust our roster here. Kind of look at where we're at here. So for quarterback, we got Joe Milton backing up Josh Allen, and Shane Bicheluti. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name. That's all right. James Cook, Naheem Hines. We still have Leonard Fournette. Kind of forgot about that. But Naheem Hines is still here, but he's hurt. Reggie Gilliam there. Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakir, Devin Duvernay, Deontay Hardy. Jermaine Burton is down here at wide receiver number 5. Yeah, wide receiver 5. Ahead of Andy Isabella and Justin Shorter. Tight ends, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Trey McKitty, Zach Davidson, Reed Ferguson. So all of our tight ends are still here. Nobody really new yet. Left tackles, obviously Ladarius Henderson here from Michigan is backing up Deion Dawkins. Connor McGovern's all alone here at right left guard. That's all right. Mitch Morse, Ryan Bates, Greg Max. That's fine. So we really didn't draft a new center, but we really don't need it, at least not right now. Osiris Torrance is still here. He needs to develop a lot more this upcoming season. I think he will if we get him into that. One of our focus players during weekly training for sure. Spencer Brown, also a good young tackle still. Hasn't really developed a whole lot, but hopefully he will a little bit more this year. Greg Rousseau, obviously we just picked up his option, so he should be good to go. Julian Okawara, who we just signed in free agency. Braden McGregor, who we just drafted. Behind him. Defensive tackles, Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, who we re-signed, and Derek Harmon, who they just drafted for us. And they're in the D-tackle position. Left side linebacker, still nobody, but that's because we have Isaiah Simmons, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Terrell Bernard, as well as Baylon Spector in the middle linebackers. And then in right outside linebackers, Edgerrin Cooper, Matt Milano, and Dorian Williams. Cornerback, a lot of them, Tre'Davious White, Taron Johnson, Russell Douglas, Curry Allen, Christian Benford, Storm Duck. Safeties, Micah Hyde, DeMar Hamlin, Trey Norwood, Jordan Poyer, Jaden Hicks are our strong safeties. Kicker Tyler Bass, and punter Sam Martin. So there's that. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm actually going to go quickly to the linebackers, and I'm actually going to fix them right now. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move Edgerrin Cooper to the left side because I feel like he should be at the left side because, you know, not cornerback, left side of the, you know, just because, I mean, we need a left side linebacker. Matt Milano will eventually be back, hopefully by next week, but we'll see. Actually, how many weeks does he have left? It says 5 weeks. So hopefully by the, you know, once we advance next week, it'll actually technically advance like fast forward like several months. So then he should be back by then. So that way we'll hopefully be able to have him over there. But then we can always just move some guys around as well, or even sign free agents. So I'll look to do that. But I just wanted to move someone over there just so he'll eventually have somebody, probably a veteran or something. But as of right now, we're just going to leave him there on his lonesome. But that's kind of the purpose why we drafted him. So there we go. Just want to make sure numbers are all right. So Jermaine Burton got number 89. That's all right. But yeah, there's that. So actually what we're going to do now is we're actually going to, well, actually, you know what? No, we're going to, we can make some more adjustments later. But what I'm going to do is this is something I just started to do for some reason. I decided to we're going to fix the depth chart here. So we're going to put Joe Milton in here. Actually, we'll probably put Shane, whoever he's there, just to kind of imitate real life a little bit. So Joe Milton will be the third string quarterback. Obviously, he won't ever start, but we'll just put him there for that. Let's see. Naheem Hines is still injured, unfortunately, so Leonard Fournette will probably be the backup. We probably need to sign on the running back. Didn't really think about that. Fullback, which should be good for now. Wide receiver wise. We do have another one here, so Devin Duvernay will put him in for where he's supposed to be. And then the wide receiver for Jermaine Burton, I actually have a plan for him. It's actually something that for some reason I've started to like to do is just because, if we can, we're gonna put. Well, I guess he's not really a good kick returner, is he? That's kind of ruins my plans. But usually I put the rookie wide receivers on kick return because they usually are good kick returners. But well, actually, let me just see this for a second because he has. What does he have for speed? It's 97. It's not bad. Who is the guy that's here? Hardy actually has better kick return. So actually scratch that idea. I don't think we're going to do that. Just because Jermaine Burton's not necessarily going to be starter, unfortunately worthy, but that's totally all right. I do want to get him involved though, at least. So actually, just because what we're going to do, we're going to try this out. We're going to not put him in the slot. We're going to put him as our, at least our, we'll have Hardy doing kick returns. We'll have him doing punt returns because the hope is that our defense our offense will score enough that we won't have to punt. So, or that's not what I meant. Our defense will do so well that, or actually no, that's the opposite of what I want. Whatever, we're still gonna put Jermaine Burton in it. You know, where I normally put rookie receivers, which is that punt returner. So that's just what I do. You guys probably won't agree with it, but that's just what I choose to do. So, in power halfback, we're gonna put Leonard Fournette. He is higher overall in that anyways. Sub linebacker, we're actually gonna put probably Isaiah Simmons because he's technically a linebacker, or typically a, yeah, we'll just put him at sub linebacker. Slot corner, Christian Benford is fine. Let's see what else we can do here. Long snapper, kickoff specialist. Rush left end, Gregory Rousseau is fine. Rush right end, we don't currently have a rush right end for some reason. But Julian Nukawara is going to be here at rush right end then, I guess. Alright, so then D tackle then. Alright, so then for rushing D tackle, we'll just leave that all over there. Obviously, we've got everything else. And then obviously practice squad we're going to leave for later. So I think for now we can easily move into next week and into the preseason. Just give me a moment here. So we're going to advance. I don't think nope, we can't really do anything with that. So let's move into next week. And we will be right into the preseason. And right here, our first preseason game looks like it'll be at home against Arizona. And then we're going to be on the road for the Green Bay, to face the Green Bay Packers, and then against the Minnesota Vikings. So, yeah, so that's going to be for sure next episode. At least this first game will be, not, and maybe training camp as well. But this episode was mainly just about the draft for this first off season. So I know usually some other Madden creators out there, they probably do the whole off season in one video, one live stream. But obviously it's my first time doing this sort of thing. I'm just gonna split it up this way. So I hope you guys can understand that. And plus, this took me a while to do anyway. It's about an hour and a half long. So there's that. Yeah, so and I guess the last thing I want to do here is just see if we need to do anything about our salary cap thing with free agents that are left here. Kareem Hunt is still here. That's actually interesting. Can we sign him? We can actually if we really wanted to. That's actually insane. I might even do that because we do have 7 million left. So yeah, it looks like we do have a couple guys in there that we can take their free agents. So we might do that next episode. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that is probably going to be it for this video. I know it's kind of a weird spot to, leave it like right after the draft and whatnot. You kind of want to just get right into playing the game and things, but this video has been going on for a while, and I feel like just now is probably a good stopping point so that you guys can look forward to the next one whenever it's next comes out. Hopefully it's not too much longer after this one, but we'll see how things work out. So, but yeah, that's basically about it. So hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the Bills franchise, and hope to see you back here next time one of the videos is up. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.